Welcome back to the Holy Huddle.
What's up?
This is your host, Ethan Mailer, along with my co-host, Drew Geltmeyer. And today we are doing another tier list and tier list reaction sort of thing. And just a precursor before we start this video, Ethan is a big dummy and didn't post the second part, or he lost the second part on Riverside. Whatever the heck happened, it's all right. I think we'll be fine for now. But yeah, we now have this whatever we got right here, and yeah, we're just gonna react to this. So
And guess what? I am back in the office. Look at that.
He's back in the office today, back in the war room, as we say.
The war room. That's pretty good.
So give y'all yourselves a round of applause. Thank y'all for sticking around and watching that. So
yeah, thank y'all. Thank y'all.
We decided to bring it back for another tier list episode, and today we are doing the Big Ten.
Yes, sir.
And the first team we are going to start with is Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Wisconsin coming off, I believe it was a 5-7 years, below a 500 year last year in the Big Ten. And, they lost some key pieces. So they lost a couple of players last year. Their team leaders last year was Braylon Lockey, who passed for 1,936 yards. Howie Walker, who ran for 864. Vinny Anthony, he had 672 receiving yards. Waller had 71 yards. And then the safety Preston Zachman had 2 interceptions. And Hunter Wallner, had 71 tackles. And so coming into this year, some of the top players, I guess, coming in for Wisconsin that could have a big impact for them is a cornerback named Ricardo Hallman. He was a second-team All-American in 2023. He recorded 7 interceptions, which is pretty good. And then he was a quitter player for Halt. And then he was in 2024. It says he was a much quieter. It was a much quieter year for Hallman in 2024. Not as much production, but he comes into this year with pretty high expectations. He comes in basically as a 90 overall, which is their top player on the team coming in. And then you look at, and Wisconsin's always been kind of like an offensive lineman kind of school, kind of,
they run the ball a lot.
Yeah. So coming in at 89 overall, at number 2 is an offensive lineman named Riley Melhaman. I think that's how you pronounce it. He was a legitimate prospect, He's a legitimate NFL prospect. He elected to return to school after an inconsistent year in 2024, which congrats to him. And so now he's going to be looking to try and reestablish himself as one of those, big-time offensive linemen for the Badgers. And he's looking to become potentially the second highest offensive lineman maybe in Wisconsin history. He comes in at 89 overall. And so, the way their offense works around the run game and even pass game, I think he could have a really good year. And then Preston Zachman, who we literally just mentioned, who was a big-time player for them last year, comes in as an 88 overall. He was a breakout player last year for Wisconsin. He racked up 58 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and about 2 interceptions as a full-time starter. And he'll definitely have a big-time role with Austin Brown joining him in the back end for that Badger defense. And so, it's actually interesting. He's actually a 6-year senior this year, so he's definitely a veteran. So he came back another.
Oh, a corn ambulance!
What?
I was gonna say, I did not realize I knew that much about Wisconsin football.
I think you had like a computer screen in front of you. You're looking up.
I know. I shared so much. I lost track of everything I was saying.
Corn ambulance.
So that'll be interesting.
I don't even like some of the memes I'm posting on here. Are not even kind of impressed. Kind of impressed of my work.
And so we'll see him probably be a NFL draft prospect in the near future. So yeah, He comes in at 88 overall. So, I mean, he had 4 pass breakups, again, 58 tackles for loss and 2 interceptions. So that's pretty dang good. And then the next guy,
it is.
and then the last guy I just want to go over because I just want to do like top 4 is Nizer Forquin, if that's how you pronounce it. Comes in as an 87 overall, an unexpected returner actually. He applied for a waiver and is on track to he's on track to return in 2025. He'll return as a starter opposite of Ricardo Hallman at cornerback, providing Wisconsin some stability after Xavier Lucas left for Miami this offseason. So a bit of transfer transition. So he's going to be in the lineup with Rico Hallman and try and see if they can have some depth at that cornerback position. So that's what I got for returning production.
Well, yeah, that was quite a lot, and it sounded like you're reading your ratings off like a NCAA like football video game website or something. Overall, because I was just thinking about the overalls as like a video game thing. But I'm just gonna go on a limb here. So 26th overall ranked recruiting class. The transfer class was quite stellar for them as they brought in the 14th ranked transfer class.
Okay.
And it looks like they replaced a lot of starters on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They replaced 2 receivers, an Ohio State receiver, a receiver from Ohio State named Jalen Ballard, a receiver from Hawaii, Deckel Crowdis, and a left tackle, Davis Heitzen. But the one thing that really stands out to me is that their quarterback room has no returners.
Because they lost their quarterback last year.
Yeah. 3 transfers, and a freshman. The projected starter right now is a transfer from Maryland, Billy Edwards Jr., Danny O'Neill, Hunter Simmons, and a freshman, Carter Smith. So their quarterback room is kind of a mess right now. Not any returning quarterback. And when you want success, you usually want a returning quarterback.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't spell a lot of chemistry thing for me. It doesn't really compute on how they're going to do well or how they're going to do.
It's not like a breath of fresh air or anything.
I mean, no, it's not. No, he's not even a good starter. He had 16 passing touchdowns. I mean,
how many interceptions?
Jeez.
Where's all the shade? Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Where's all the shade coming from?
He's not even a good starter.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, he's not even a good starter. Holy cow! Dang,
that's terrible.
What did he ever do to you?
I don't know.
Jeez.
Stats don't lie, man. Stats don't lie.
Stats don't lie. Film doesn't lie either.
Numbers do not lie.
What do you have?
6. I mean, he was efficient, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a senior. They'll have him for 1 year. I mean, they're obviously returning a running back, Cade Yamameli.
Yeah.
I mean, and with their offensive line, like you said, I can always see them as a team to be decent and, sort of play through their defense. Because they've had guys like Melvin Gordon, Braylon Allen to come through their school and go on to the NFL at the running back position. But now I'm looking at the defense, a lot of transfers as well. And I see that they're sort of getting them from smaller schools. So honestly, I think this is going to be a test for them. Like, because they got a guy from, Missouri State, Central Michigan. They got a guy from Miami, so he might be okay. They got a guy from LSU, Jackson State, Grambling State, Idaho. What is this? I don't even know what this school is. Western Carolina.
Who? Western Carolina. Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. Richmond. The Richmond Spiders. Spider-Man. Just whatever a spider can. Spins. San Diego's. Jeez.
Bro. Hey, what planet did you parachute in from?
I know.
Jeez.
I was on a whole different world with some of these edits.
Something.
Hey, don't play it then. They've been good at basketball before. San Diego State and just a bunch of I just see a bunch of small schools on here.
Yeah.
So and I think this is a team with something to prove, considering that they didn't make a bowl game. But honestly, with that returning running back, I honestly think can you double check to see how much they rushed that running back rushed for? So I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. You said was it Ty Walker?
It was Cade.
Cade Yakameli, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah. Let's see. Last year he rushed for 274 yards.
Okay, so here's the backup. So honestly, I see him. I could possibly see him as a guy that'll be solid, probably for them, because Wisconsin's a running back factory. They just keep putting him out there.
Well, I mean, their top four rushers, their top four running backs last year. I mean, their top went for 864, like I said, and then you got 317, 274, and then another guy ran for 232. So, yeah, I think the run game's going to be their kind of strength point.
Yeah, they got 6'7". I just been right on the highway. 7 tight end. And the meme still hasn't died yet.
No, it hasn't. Even a year later.
It's still very much alive. These were posted almost a year ago.
And it's still not dead.
That meme has withstood the test of time.
It's taken longer for that meme to die down than it did Fortnite.
Hey, Fortnite's still alive and well, so.
It's kind of dead.
I'm blocking for him too, so I still play that run game is going to be solid. I don't necessarily think they're going to be the most effective team throwing the ball, with only one really standout guy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, they've never been a really big pass team. I mean,
they've never been a passing team. Never.
No.
But a freshman I could expect to make an impact is a son of an NFL wide receiver, Eugene Hilton Jr. We'll see what he does. I think that's a freshman to look out for.
Gotcha.
But I think just because they're Wisconsin, I think they'll finish like around the mid-table.
Yeah, I agree too. And actually, I'll read you their schedule just to get a glimpse of what their season might look like. So they play Miami, Ohio at home. They got Middle Tennessee at home, and then they go on the road to Alabama. That should be a fun one. Yeah, I know. Jump right in the water.
Did they not?
Huh?
They played them last year, I believe.
Yeah, it was in Wisconsin.
It was at Camp Randall. I mean, I think it was a closer game too.
No, it was that game was a blowout.
I'm thinking about their game with Oregon. They had a really close game with Oregon this past year.
No,
they can compete. Those guys can compete down in Wisconsin. They aren't, they play good old smash mouth football, and that's why I have them at least making a bowl game this year.
Yeah. No, I think it was like a 42-10 blowout.
Okay, and since we already ranked them, they went a staggering 4-8 this year.
Yeah.
Obviously a disastrous season for Wisconsin, and just not an amazing season whatsoever.
And by the way, the Miami Ohio game, the first game that they had, they only won 17-0.
Only 17-0.
Listen, a win's a win. You get them whenever you can, but yeah.
Luke Fickell is definitely on the hot seat if he is not already.
Oh yeah, and allowing Iowa to put 37 on you, you're not going to keep your job for long.
He's got to turn it around, but he had a good win with the Washington win, and Washington was a great squad this year.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I just think moving forward and continuing to move forward, we need improvement this year from Wisconsin. And if they can't improve, Luke Fickell is out of there.
Well, and looking at what they did last year, especially against some top 25 teams, they basically got their butts handed to them against Alabama. They lost 24-10 to Michigan. So they only lost by 2 possessions. Iowa, obviously, they got blown out. Ohio State, understandable.
They beat Illinois. That's a nice little win right there.
They beat Illinois.
Beat Washington.
Oregon was actually closer than Ohio State or Indiana, which is kind of surprising to me. But yeah, I think they only lost 21-7 in that game. Yeah, and then they lost by 10 to Minnesota at the end of the season. But yeah,
I still think there's something to build upon. It's not all dead like that. It's not like, oh man, we went 4-8. The season was bad. You get maybe 1 or 2 of those games to go your way. You're making a bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, if they would have been able to beat Minnesota or I don't know, if they would have been able to
I mean, heck, the 2 teams that you beat in Big Ten play were some of the best teams in the Big Ten all year.
Yeah, I think if they would have been able to get that Minnesota and maybe
Oregon.
I don't know about Oregon. Maybe Illinois or Maryland. Maybe they could have done something even better.
They beat Illinois, yeah. If they did a little bit better against Maryland, or
even against Iowa.
Yeah.
No, like I said, if you get blown out by Iowa 37-0, that pretty much sets the tone of
your defense has got some issues.
And there's not many. I don't remember a ton of times when you let Iowa score 37 points.
No, you're right.
So
you're totally right.
But yeah, Luke Fickell going into this year, he's definitely on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
Third place.
What am I thinking? What am I thinking then? Stupid brain.
Stupid. So, I'm not going to let you get the chance.
So would you at Alabama? Wait, pause it. So would you say that would you say that we were pretty accurate on that, or kind of?
Yeah, I'd say it's not terribly off. I wouldn't say like I'm slapping my head. It's so stupid, but like it's the right thing. It was a conservative pick. It wasn't necessarily an aggressive pick, but we were pretty much right on that. I were to say, because they weren't amazing, but they had some things they could build upon, and they had some things they could do. Working for the next season. They beat some ranked teams, but the games that they lost, they were blown out.
Yeah.
And so,
And they play Maryland at home. Then they go to the Big House, Michigan. Then they play Iowa and also Big Boy.
That's probably one of the most fun rivalry games, the Paul Bunyan Act.
Considering you have, I would even throw Indiana in because of last year. So you're talking about 4 or 5 teams in which you have the.
They want
definitely,
So
no disrespect to any Wisconsin fans. Let's just say I don't think you're going to beat Alabama on the road. You're not
going to beat the tie.
I don't think you're going to be quite good enough in week 3 to.
Let's move on to Washington. So I see a couple familiar names right here. I've seen Jonah Coleman. Jonah Coleman, I think, was their top running back last year. Jonah Coleman was amazing quite well for them. Mm-hmm. I think he was on the team that Michael Penix was on. I see.
Go ahead.
I see Desmond Williams, who I think it was Will Rogers last year who started at quarterback for them. So it's a brand new starting quarterback situation as well.
Yeah. Well, I also want to point out this. I think the Washington Huskies might have had probably in the last year have had the biggest turnover maybe out of any team in college football. I mean, you lose a guy. 2 years ago, this team was in the playoffs playing against Texas, beat them barely, and then played for the national championship. Then, they lose Michael Penix in the draft. They lose their head coach, Kalen DeBoer, at Alabama. And so they had to bring in a whole new coaching staff. Their roster was basically all brand new. So, and going into a new conference, right? There was really no lead room anywhere for Washington to really have a good year. So I think this year is going to be a very interesting year for them. I don't know if you agree with that.
For certain. But I've always known them as, I don't really know what identity they've had in the past. I remember the Kalen DeBoer days with Michael Penix. At least recently, the past 2 years, they have been a very efficient offensive team. Maybe not necessarily. I don't ever remember them having a dominant running back, but I always remember them having a great passing game.
Right. Yeah.
And they've played complementary football. So,
well, and Washington has always been they've always been a really good pass team. Well, they've been very balanced. They haven't just been a very big pass team. They've been very balanced. And like you said, they were a little bit spoiled with Michael Penix a few years ago. But so for them, let me take a look at the roster.
I mean, when you send 3 wide receivers to the NFL the year they made it to the national championship?
Yeah. Well, okay. So team stats for last year. So do you remember Will Rogers from Mississippi State?
Yep, that's who I was just talking about.
Yep. He passed for 2,458 yards.
I mean, I just want to mentioning Will Rogers. I came across this really cool story on Mike Leach, and sort of because he played for Mississippi State, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Leach coached him. I want to sort of connect this story. Baylor's quarterback, who used to play at Mississippi State, was on John Gruden's QB camp and like his little thing, and he had a little play script. Sawyer Robinson had a play script, and he was able to give one of the copies of that to John Gruden, which is really cool.
That. Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome. Last year for Washington, Jonah Coleman, running back, rushed for over 1,000 yards. Wide receiver Giles Jackson had 893 receiving yards. Linebacker Carson Bruner had 104 tackles, and Carson Bruner also led he had 3 interceptions in that category. That was last year. And so obviously Will Rogers is gone.
Yeah.
So now Desmond Williams Jr.?
Yes, it is Desmond Williams Jr. who is taking the reins.
Mm-hmm. So he's gonna have to step up. But on the bright side, he's got playing experience, right? They've got a guy to lean on. I mean, he threw for 900. He had 944 yards of passing the ball last year.
And Desmond Williams Jr.
Yeah. And for top players,
Desmond Williams Jr. He's a baller.
He's electric this year.
He is good, and he's only like 19 years old, I think.
A great dual threat, by the way. 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 611 rushing yards, and 6 touchdowns. He was probably one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the country this year. And he certainly showed it with his offense. Denzel Boston did really well. His Jonah Coleman showed up exactly like I thought he would. Everything happened correct. Everything went correctly for this Washington offense.
And I think I saw him in I think it was Las Vegas Bowl this past bowl season against Boise State, and he looked really good.
Yeah, he absolutely torched Boise State, I think.
Yeah.
And I think, if I don't believe, he had some legal troubles with the portal and NIL this cycle, and how people were trying to get him to transfer out. He was being tampered with.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah, those allegations. Yeah,
and I think he's coming back to Washington. As far as I know, I didn't hear of anything that he wasn't going to be. But he fired his agent. A lot of stuff happened in that little off-season scenario. Lots of drama involved with him around the off-season. but he is coming back for the Huskies for the 2026 season, and that is something to be happy about.
And I even think, and before we even get into the next season tier list and stuff, I think he's a name that we need to watch out for going into this next year for Washington.
Absolutely.
It's not like the it's not like the rating from the whatever the 89 overall range or anything like that. But some of the top players I have for Washington: Jonah Coleman, like we just mentioned, Grady Gross, place kicker.
He's a really good kicker.
I remember him. He was big in there. He was big in that one playoff run. What I remember, he was pretty big in that playoff run they had 2 years back.
Hey, and I just want to say this too. We gotta give our place kickers respect now. I mean,
I think it's getting harder and harder to recruit this kicker position because you just can't find these kids out of high school anymore. You got to go. These kids kicking in high school are so underappreciated, man.
I know, they gotta get some more respect. Jeremiah Hunter at wide receiver. So those are 3 guys.
Yeah, and Omari Evans, who's from Penn State. So we'll see. I mean, Denzel Boston was pretty solid. He had about 834 yards. He's returning. But I see a lot of freshmen. I see lots and lots and lots of freshmen for the offensive side of the ball.
That can be a really, really good thing, or that can be a very, very bad.
I mean, they brought in the 27th overall recruiting class, which is not bad at all. A standout recruit would be Zadarius Rainey Sale, a safety. Rylan Dillard Allen. It looks like most have been recruiting better on defense, except there's another receiver, Chris Lawson. But and honestly, these depth charts are not set in stone.
No.
I remember vividly. They had a lot of drama around Jonte Cook. Jonte Cook committed there out of the portal and then left, and now he's playing at Syracuse. It's just so strange. Honestly, the Jonte Cook thing was a very strange ordeal.
He's a very interesting story.
He played at the same college that Trey Wisner did, but not college, high school. I know they played at the same college. They both played at Texas.
And they played at DeSoto.
They're both gone now.
Yeah.
Isn't that a strange turn of events?
Is Cook still at Syracuse?
I believe so.
Together too.
For 1 year. For 1 or 2 years. 2 years should be 2 years.
Well, so for Washington, looking at their schedule, just to get a glimpse of it. So they play Colorado State at home. They play. Have you heard of this team? UC Davis.
I think I've heard of them.
Okay. Well, now we're on the same boat. So both at home. They go to Washington State. Then they play Ohio State at home. Then they have Michigan on the road. They play Rutgers at home. They go to the Big House at Michigan. They play the Big I in Illinois at home. They play Wisconsin at home. Not at home, on the road. They play the Boilermakers of Purdue at home. They play the Bruins of UCLA and Nikhil Imaliava on the road. And then they play Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks at home to finish off the season.
And I want to be as respectful as possible. They have some returning production. I think they are going to – I think they're going to make a bowl game this year. Yeah. They got they've got a couple. They sprinkled in transfers where they've needed them. I've seen the name. Ugalele. So I've seen a lot of transfers from Power 5, Power 4 schools. Yeah. I mean, they're sort of sprinkling them in there. I saw a 4-star offensive lineman. I think they finish maybe 7-5, 8-4, and make a bowl game. I think they have a very respectable season.
Yeah, I would put them in probably the mid. Yeah, I would say the mid.
That's what I was thinking too, just because.
Yeah.
Returning production, but I don't know if they're on the same level as the Michigans, the Nebraskas, the Ohio States, the Penn States,
Yeah. So next up, USC.
They are interesting.
I think we did an excellent job with that pick.
Yeah, because they finished 9-4.
They finished about 7th in their conference. They weren't quite top 5, but they had 9 wins. Definitely slightly above mid, but they weren't top 5. So honestly, we nailed that prediction spot on. Elite ball knowledge, etc. Great pick, Ethan. Great pick, Drew.
Yay!
Okay.
Hey, this is a very interesting team that Lincoln Riley is going to have.
He also big receiver in Zachariah Branch. He went to Georgia, not Miami.
Oof. Yeah.
His brother, actually, Zachariah Branch's brother went to Miami, I think.
Really?
Yeah. So, dude, looking at their team, they got a return. I know they got a returning starter at quarterback. The same quarterback. I'm gonna throw some shade on A&M for a minute here. The same quarterback that threw 3 interceptions in a game and y'all still lost to him. Jaden Mayava.
Yep.
You don't sound too happy about that one.
I don't speak too much of it. Just like we don't speak much of when Colorado beat Baylor on the last.
I'm getting PTSD.
Oh man, you had one job. You had one job in prevent, and y'all still couldn't pull that off.
I don't know why we're sending a blitz.
You had one job. You had one job to play in prevent. You still can't do it. Oh, that was funny. You have one job. One job. The simplest defensive call, and y'all still can't. You still can't execute that. Oh man.
David Miranda sent a blitz on that play.
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
And y'all were still playing prevent.
We're not playing prevent. We're playing some soft blitz. Why is he blitzing on a 4? This is all the issues of Baylor football just coming back to. This was 2 years ago. Keep in mind, and I'm still having issues with it.
Still having issues with it. Oh man.
Yeah. Anywho, we digress. We digress. Anywho, yeah. So, Jaden, so last year, Miller Moss, for last year's leaders and all that.
He transferred to Louisville.
Yeah. He threw for 2,555 yards. Woody Marks rushed for 1,133 yards rushing.
Hey, he's gone too.
Yeah. And receiving, Micah Lemon.
Okay, Mekhi Lemon was the best receiver in all of college football this year. He won the Blitnikoff Award. Clean sweep of all those awards. He will be one of the top receivers taken in this year's draft. Congrats to him.
You sure about that? No, Jeff, you will.
Are you certain about that?
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
Had 764 yards receiving. Easton Marquinhos Arnold had 94 tackles, and Jaden Smith had 2 interceptions. And then we just talked about Jaden Miava. He threw for 1,201 yards. And the offense that Lincoln Riley runs with that air raid kind of just spread out kind of offense, I mean, Jaden Miava can have all the success that he wants. It's just the guys around him.
Well, yeah, and they lost some talented receivers. But a name that sticks out to me is Jacoby Lane. Lots of returning production from Jacoby Lane. One of those very shifty receivers that we get a lot of production out of. I remember him torching A&M in that game specifically. Yeah. He was really good. 525 yards and 12 touchdowns. I think he's a guy who's going to make a big impact in a big way for this USC Trojans offense.
Wait, say that name again.
Jacoby Lane.
Jacoby Lane. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So, some key players for this year. Jaden Miava, he's going to be probably their most impactful player on offense, I would argue.
No.
We'll see how his leadership comes about.
Did you say no? What'd you say no about?
No, I said no, really. You don't think that's so? Again, where's my little crystal ball? Kapoosh.
I know, for real. We need the crystal ball.
Where's that the 8-ball from Toy Story?
The 8-ball from Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, where is it? Where's it at? Where's it at?
I think you gotta shake it.
Receiver. He led the team in receptions last year, so he's going to be a big part in their offense, in their team. And then let's see, a defensive guy.
They brought in a really highly rated defensive lineman, really high 4-star freshman.
Mm-hmm. Is his name Devin Tompkins?
Jakeem Stewart. Let me see what they brought in transfer-wise. I mean, their transfer class is really nothing to write home about. They got a couple 4-stars.
Yeah. Well, because Devin Tompkins was a redshirt junior defensive tackle, and he had a pretty strong season last year and was considered one of the team's most improved players. So,
you just don't know what you're gonna get from USC. I think it ultimately all comes down to the defense for them.
Yeah.
If their defense plays well, they will be fine. I think they could finish top 5 if their defense plays well. But that's if defense plays well. I mean, heck, they brought in a 5-star quarterback. They brought in a D lineman. Like, you can only do so much. And I think, honestly, it's going to have to be some of these transfers that are going to have to step up and play well on this defense, or we're going to see another 6-6, 7-5, 5-7 season from USC again if we don't see the defense improve.
Yeah. Well, I think if they have another lackluster season, I honestly think Lincoln Riley's going to run out of time. And just looking at the roster too, sorry, not the roster, their schedule. Start off with Missouri State at home. They play Georgia Southern at home. And honestly, Georgia Southern they've been a very sneaky team over the past couple of years. Georgia Southern, pretty sneaky team over the past couple of years. They go to Purdue. They play Michigan State at home. They play at Illinois. They play Michigan at home. They play at Notre Dame. That'll be a tough one, especially that's a rivalry game and what all that entails. They play at Nebraska, and then they play Northwestern at home. They play Iowa at home. They play Oregon on the road, and they finish off with UCLA.
And this, make or break season for them. Keep in mind, at least for Lincoln Riley's sake.
My biggest concern for USC is because last year they lost some games in the regular season that they thought they should have won, like the Penn State game. The Penn State game they let go through their fingers.
But even they showed so much flash. They showed so much potential. They beat that LSU. They beat an LSU team that beat a lot of good teams.
And they still went, what was it, 7-5, 8-5, beating a good A&M team.
They went 7-6. Yeah.
Yeah. So my biggest concern on their schedule for me when I look at it is you have to go to Notre Dame and you have to go to Nebraska. And we'll get to Nebraska in a little bit. I really like Nebraska coming in. So that's why I say that's kind of scary, back-to-back games like that on the road.
Yeah.
And then Illinois has been – they've been on the uprise in the Big Ten for the last couple of years. So that could be a trick game. And then obviously at Oregon and Michigan too. So, can Lincoln Riley pull something out? I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I honestly think we gotta figure some things out. But if you figure out defense, I think they could have a very successful season, maybe even a top 5 finish in the Big Ten. But
you gonna put them in a top 5 finish?
No, I don't trust them that much yet. I'm gonna put them in.
I should have trusted them more. They finished top 5. They finished 4th in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to be fair, they finally figured out their defense a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. They there's some games where they only gave up 17. They gave up 10 points. But their offense was truly special this year.
Yeah.
With, of course, having a receiver of the year, you're going to have a great passing season. They finished 9-4 to complete the season, losing in the Alamo Bowl in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was that. But besides that, their season was overwhelmingly successful, if you look at it.
Yeah, they lost. I think they lost off a field goal against Illinois, and then they lost by 10 to at Notre Dame, and then they lost to Oregon.
Say Illinois misses that field goal, they could be playing for. They would be playing. They might be in the playoff.
Yeah, and well, they lost to TCU too, in the Alamo Bowl. But yeah, if they would have gotten that Illinois game back, Notre Dame loss is understandable. And that Oregon game for that a good chunk of that first half, they were still in it. I mean, they were in the game the entire time. But yeah, I mean,
I think the expectation for them this year is going to be to make the playoff.
if not that, at least contend for a Big Ten championship.
Absolutely, and if they don't get close to achieving that this year, there might be some question marks.
Yeah, because if you take away the Illinois loss, say that's a win, and you take away, just if you take away the Illinois loss, I mean, you're looking at a 10-2 USC team. Maybe they beat Oregon, but I don't know if.
Yeah,
I think that was at Oregon, so.
Yeah, you're not winning too many games at Autzen Stadium.
No, so yeah, I think if they would have been able to win against Illinois, they could have been in that conversation.
But, absolutely.
Yeah, I was about to say
they're a good team.
I was about to say I don't think I would go that far.
I'll put him in the mid category for now. For now, we put him in the mid category.
Yeah. So it looks like we got one of their other rivals in UCLA and Nico Imaliaba.
Yeah, and Nico Imaliaba.
I think this is going to be for UCLA. I think because they've been put in the situation with Nico and all that. I honestly don't know what to expect from them because I think that they are pretty much hyped because of the quarterback they have.
But Nico wasn't even that spectacular last year.
No, I mean, I wouldn't say he wasn't bad, but he wasn't lightning out of a bottle or anything.
I mean, they had a 36 overall recruiting class, which is nothing to write home about.
Yeah, that's not even
20 ranked transfer class, and Nico Imaliaba is holding that one up. He's holding up that transfer class to the extreme.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's carrying that.
I mean, which they got some transfer talent, but it's nothing to write home about.
No. Well, I mean, last year, Ethan Garbers was their quarterback last year. He threw for 2,727 yards. TJ Harden, the running back, rushed for 506 yards. And then Mokio Matiaba, their tight end, had 506 yards receiving. Their linebacker Carson Schwechnager, I think.
Don't pronounce that one wrong. You might get in trouble.
I know, or get called out. Yeah, whatever. Had 136 tackles, interceptions for Brian Addison. He had 2. Those were their team leaders last year, and so. Nico Imaliaba is obviously most likely going to be the starter for them, unless something bad happens.
Unless something terrible happens.
Yeah, which we hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, obviously top players for UCLA, Nico Imaliaba. I'm looking up right now.
Why'd he go quiet?
Oh, you know why? I think it's because Riverside kicked us off or something. Or yeah, I think something happened.
The episode, that episode.
Yeah.
Let's just see where we ended up putting UCLA.
Yeah. I think for these next, for some of these we can just
quickly go over them.
Yeah.
Do I even get to where we put UCLA? I don't even know if we get to that.
Did we?
I think I ended up putting them in like the trash tier. I think that's what I ended up doing.
Well, they went 3-9, so I don't think you got that wrong.
No, I don't think I did. But quickly going over the rest of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of want to preface this. UCLA had one of the most exciting records. They were one of the most exciting teams, probably for a solid 3 weeks until, Indiana whooped up on them.
Until reality kissed
Until
their
reality
ass.
kind of set in. They beat Penn State, Michigan State, and Maryland in a 3-week stretch. And we're saying, hey, this UCLA team, they're on fire. Until they lost 56-6 against Indiana, 28-21 against Nebraska, 48-10 against Ohio State, 48-14 against Washington, and 29-10 against USC. Dumpster fire type of season for sure. Definitely not the best season in the world.
You're gonna make sure that when I said the word ass, you're gonna get that out of the Riverside the video, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I'll take it out of there, I promise.
Thank you, Ethan Mailer. Whatever your middle name is.
That would be, you know what? All of the comments try to guess my middle name.
Yeah, everybody down in the comment section trying to guess Ethan Mailer's middle name.
If you already know, let the comments let them play the game. Y'all can play the game if y'all want to.
And whoever wins, you will be our next guest.
You'll win the opportunity to be on with us.
You got to work your way there.
But yeah, just sort of looking at the rest of these teams. Starting with Rutgers. Rutgers was, I believe, a very solid squad this year. They were pretty bad.
They were 5-7.
I thought they were solid this year, though.
Nope, they were below 500, and they didn't do too well.
They didn't do too well. They finished about middle.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to put up 60 against Norfolk State, but
yeah, what are you gonna do? It's a hard school to recruit at, and do we even have to mention Purdue? Because I know for certain they were not.
Hey, I'll just say this for the Boilermakers: no hard feelings whatsoever, but you just gotta try harder not to suck.
I know where you got that one from. I definitely know where you got that one from. 2 wins in total this year.
Hey, it's better than 0.
Yeah, it's better than 0. Nothing really to write home about for the Boilermakers. You know, when you win 2 games, no one's going to be talking about you except how bad you are.
Yeah.
You want to be talked about for good things and not bad things, and so obviously they're being talked for a bad thing here. They're talking about how bad they are. Hopefully somebody will come in. Hopefully they'll get a Kirk Cignetti like coach, and they'll generate a turnaround. but as for now, they have been bad.
Hey, the bright side about their situation is there's only one way to go, and that's
Up.
up. Buster Moon from Sing, such a great inspiration.
Such a great inspiration. And then looking at Penn State's season,
Oh boy,
definitely underwhelming for sure.
that's an understatement.
Lost to once the Oregon game happened, it just started to gradually fall apart from there. They lost to Oregon, lost to UCLA, lost to Northwestern, Iowa, Ohio State, and Indiana by 3 on a last-second touchdown. And they beat Michigan State, Nebraska, Rutgers to get to a bowl game, and they beat Clemson in their bowl game. With all the talent they had this year, a definite disappointment this year for them. But James Franklin is fired. They got new management in right now. Matt Campbell bringing all his players from Iowa State in. I think there's potential for something to happen, for at least improvement, whether that be 2-3 wins. There's definitely some room there for improvement, especially with Rocco Beck coming in and then all the Iowa State players who just dominated the Big 12 the past 2 years. And so we'll see how that transfers over to the Big 10. But as for now, Penn State really has to look back at this last season and say, hey, what went wrong?
Yeah. It was just after that Oregon disaster in overtime, it just went downhill from there, and they just couldn't put the pieces back together.
Yeah. And then
even though they had a winning season, stuff happens that we just can't control,
Yeah, exactly. And then looking at the Oregon Ducks, successful season, I would say, for them.
Yeah, I would say going 13-2 and 8-1 in your conference, making the playoffs, not too bad. Not too bad.
Obviously you want to do better. You want to make the national championship, but considering that you beat 2 playoff teams, you beat James Madison 51-34, and then you beat a great Texas Tech team 23-0, and you have Dante Moore coming back. I think there is a lot of optimism for the Ducks here to be had, and even the future is kind of bright right now. You got Dylan Raiola sitting on the bench. You really have the next couple of years set up for you. Oregon football, you have really nothing to worry about yet. Dante Moore obviously coming back another season, which is, I don't know. I think it's kind of a mistake that Dante Moore is coming back another season because this quarterback class is very weak, and he would be like the second quarterback selected in this draft class. But yeah, Oregon is just reloading this year, and they're just ready for another playoff run, maybe even a national championship run. We shall see.
Yeah, like you said, the whole Dante Moore thing. I was very surprised that he came back.
He's making twice the amount of money in college that they're making in the NFL nowadays, and it's just
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Dante Moore's a great quarterback, and hopefully we'll see more of that. More of that. See what I did? We'll see more of that.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't go. I hope it's not like the Garrett Nussmeier scenario. I don't think it will be, but like how Garrett Nussmeier decided to stay for LSU for his last year, and then didn't have the season that he wanted. You just don't want it to be like that.
I think he's definitely a Heisman front runner this next year, just because of the offense he was in and the scheme he was in. He could do some very special things in this Oregon offense.
And I think he's getting back Evan Stewart, I think.
Yeah, he's going to get back Evan Stewart, who tore his ACL preseason or tore his Achilles preseason.
Yeah.
I think they're going to start having... I mean, there's potential there to be a national championship run.
Yeah, they'll be good. I think
they will be amazing. And then moving on to the Ohio State Buckeyes, this past season for them went exceptionally well, at least in the regular season.
Yeah.
Until they sort of ran into Indiana at the Big Ten Championship, and then they ran into Carson Beck and the Miami Hurricanes at the end of the season. Considering they won the national championship last year, a little bit disappointing, but when you make the playoff, I don't really think you can be too disappointed.
Hey, I think the only thing they cared about, or one of the only things they cared about this season, was beating Michigan.
Yeah, they finally got their get back against Michigan, and it's good this year. Now they have Indiana and Michigan to worry about for years to come in this conference, especially with Kirk Cignetti, his coaching style, the way he motivates his players. That's going to be a challenge for Coach Ryan Day to go up against every single on the Saturdays they'll play them in the years to come. And so,
Yeah.
But they got Julian Sain coming back. Obviously, you returning a Heisman finalist. And then, recruiting as well as Ohio State always does. Plus returning Jeremiah Smith again. This Ohio State team's not going to lose a beat.
No, and they're bringing back Bo Jackson, I think.
Bo Jackson, their running back, yep. Yeah, they're not going to lose a beat. And if they do, it's coaching error.
And if they were to lose a beat or whatever, I think it might be more on the defensive side because they're losing Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, and then Avery Reese.
That's an insanely talented defense.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think they'll reload like they do every year.
And then moving to Northwestern, their season was a lot better than I thought it would be. They made a bowl game this year. They went 7-6 this year. They made strides. They definitely made strides this year. They beat Penn State, Purdue, Minnesota. Like, they did solid. They did solid this year. And they
lost to Michigan. They lost to Michigan by only 2 points.
Yeah, like they're taking some steps forward as a program. And that's always awesome to see, but I really don't know how they're going to do next year because I know their quarterback was a senior, and it looks like, most of their games was very gritty defensive games. So
yeah,
I know they'll have some returners on defense, and as long as they continue to build upon that identity, I think they could improve as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Yeah.
And then there's Nebraska, who I know we were very high on going into this season because they had a really good transfer class, and they had Dylan Raiola coming back, but now the season didn't go the way as expected. It didn't go exactly the way they planned it to go. They beat Cincinnati week 1. They beat Akron, Houston Christian. They only lost to Michigan by 3. Michigan State, Maryland, Northwestern, and UCLA, and they lost their bowl game to Utah. And now, I think really the biggest thing for them was getting production out of Dylan Raiola, and they did, but they've lost him now. And their transfer class was good last year. Can they build upon that? And I think the biggest question for Matt Rule is, can he finally beat a ranked team? He's been terrible at beating ranked teams in his career, and so can he finally get over that hump and beat a ranked team? Beat ranked teams?
Yeah. Well, even when they lost to Michigan, I think it was week 3 or week 4 of the year. That was like a gut punch because they were so close in that. Because I remember watching the game, the offensive line was horrible in that game. They couldn't block to save their lives.
Rough game.
Yeah. Michigan. They lost to US. It was 21-17 USC, so that's another 3 to 4 point game. They got blown out by their rival Utah or not Utah, Iowa. And then they lost to Utah, and that was Las Vegas Bowl. I don't know why I said that Washington was the Las Vegas, but yeah, Nebraska was Las Vegas Bowl. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
if they could have finished the game against Michigan or gotten that, or if they could have gotten the USC game, I think you're looking at maybe 2 more wins and maybe potentially a 9-3 record for them, maybe 8-4.
absolutely.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it was a disaster, but I would say that it was disappointing.
Disappointing season for sure.
Yeah.
And I just want to go ahead and, sort of moving on to Minnesota. Their season wasn't bad whatsoever. They're consistent, and that's something I have to credit them for. They went 8-5 this year, finishing around mid-table. But some of their wins include, they beat Nebraska, they beat Michigan State, they beat Wisconsin, they beat Rutgers, and they sort of got blown out by those better teams this year. But they won their bowl game. They won 8 games. Not a lot of schools can say they consistently win bowl games. And I think PJ Fleck is one of the most underrated coaches in all of college football, if I'm being completely honest. I think he has a perfect record in bowl games since he's been at Minnesota. You can quote me on that. But with Drake Lindsey, their starting quarterback, who's a freshman, who's coming back, he's going to get some extra help hiring a new quarterback coach, and just he's going to get all the help he needs to develop. But if I've known anything about Minnesota, is they're great at running the ball. They're not really a pass-first kind of school.
Yeah.
And, I think moving forward with this quarterback, I think, they have a chance to mildly improve, maybe win 10 games if we're being ambitious, maybe win 9. But I think they'll be sitting around the same little area that they were this year.
Yeah, and you said PJ Fleck was perfect in postseason.
Yeah, in bowl games. In his career. So, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about him.
Yeah, I can quote. Yeah, we can quote you on that. He is 7-0 in bowl games as the head coach of the Minnesota.
I was right on that. How about that?
Hey, 7-0 in bowl games. There's not many coaches who can say that.
I'm surprised I got that correct.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, 7-0. Dang. Yeah, it said he had won 6 consecutive bowl games from 2018 to 2025, which accounts for 50% of the program's total bowl game victories. That's awesome. That's really good.
Just great. He's going to be remembered as one of the best Minnesota coaches of all time.
I think so,
when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And then
how about Sparty?
Sparty did not have a good season this year. They only won 4 games. And with the quarterback situation, you should have really done better. Adrian Childs is a talented quarterback when he is healthy. Had to be coaching, I think, and just playing a lot of playing decent teams across the board. You lose to USC, Nebraska. You lost to UCLA. You ran into Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota. You lost to Penn State. You lost to Iowa, and you beat Maryland. But I think the issue for them this year is injury concerns, because when I'm looking at it, it doesn't say Adrian Childs played in all the games. And so I think, staying healthy is the biggest thing for them this year. And is ultimately a disaster season. If you look at it from that kind of perspective.
And looking at their losses, let's see, they lost 45-31 to USC. They lost 38-27 to Nebraska. They lost 38-13 to UCLA. that's not something to brag about. They lost 31-20 to Michigan, 23-20 to Minnesota, and then 28-10 to Penn State. Yeah. And then they lost 20-17 to Iowa.
In looking at it, Adrian Childs is not going to be returning to Michigan State. He committed to Northwestern in the offseason. So that tells you everything you need to know about that.
Yeah. Michigan
State's
just in a tough spot in their football program
right now. Yeah, they got a rough patch to sort of get through. And I just want to go back to Northwestern a couple teams ago. If I remember, they hired Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator too. There could be a lot of great things happening for that Northwestern team coming up in the future.
Gotcha. Huh.
And then we have the good old Michigan Wolverines. Sort of, I wouldn't say disappointing. They did solid this year. They had a true freshman quarterback who had some struggles this year. If I had to say, he did not do sensational or as great as we thought he might be. But Bryce Underwood really showed some flashes of greatness, but not as much as we would have liked.
Yeah, and then I think isn't Sharon Moore going to be watching college football if he can in his jail cell this season?
Definitely going to be watching it somewhere.
Yep.
But Michigan went 9-4 this year. Obviously, they brought in one of the best coaches, that one of the most experienced coaches in all college football, and Kyle Whittingham. I think that is going to really help Bryce Underwood, Justice Hayes, who's coming back for another season. I think.
Yeah, I think he is. I don't think he.
I think he transferred to Georgia Tech.
Did he?
He transferred to Georgia Tech, but Bryce Underwood is still staying as of now. But then again, I don't think Michigan will have an issue with that running game because they've continued to build and build and build. I think with Bryce Underwood coming back, it just really depends on the portal and just the rest of how the offseason goes on how I am going to judge their season. But if Bryce Underwood can take another step forward in his development, I think they're just going to be fine.
Yeah.
And so then we got Maryland, who I believe they showed a lot of flashes this year to be great, with their younger quarterback in Malik Washington. I'm pretty sure Malik Washington was the name of the quarterback. Malik Washington was very solid this year, if I had to say. And, sort of, this was their first new quarterback since like Tua's brother. But they started off 4-0, and then they sort of fell off. But they have a quarterback, at least from that standpoint. The standpoint of that, he was a freshman this year, very highly recruited, and just I think they're going to be fine. They just need to put talent around Malik Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if they put talent around Malik Washington, they are going to be successful. But with it being 4-8, they obviously had a disaster class of a season, and they need to improve going into next year.
Dumpster fire.
And then we have Iowa, who they did a lot of good things this year. They did a lot of great things this year in the football area. They took Oregon to a really good game. I saw that I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you win 9 games, you're going to be successful. Their quarterback barely threw the ball. He was a big-time rusher for them. Mark Gronkowski, most winningest quarterback in FCS. And obviously, I think Iowa's coach is returning. He's like the all-time Big 10 winningest coach ever. And so with that, I think they're going to continue to play the same brand of football they have always played. And, you know, I think they're going to be just fine as long as they can continue to have that strong run game. When they have a strong running game, they win football games because that gives their defense a chance to really elevate and take over games, and sort of it allows the defense to stay on the field a lot less longer than than they need to. Keeps them refreshed. And
hey, and it also helps when in a couple of your games you put up 37, you put up 41, and you put up 40 points and 34 points. Not bad.
Not bad. No, not bad at all.
Not bad.
And then we got the Indiana Hoosiers.
And I like add a comment on this one right here. We didn't do too bad with Indiana. I don't think we thought that they were going to go 16-0 and win the national championship. But you know what? Hey, I think we did pretty good with our prediction.
You never doubt the Hoosiers anymore. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with as long as Cignetti is coaching. I wouldn't say they're going to repeat this year, but you never really know at this point because he brought in transfer talent and he brought in a great recruiting class. Kirk Cignetti does a great job of doing more with less. And he brought in all these older guys, these guys that have played a lot of college football, and that was also ultimately a recipe for success. And his quarterback is one of those guys who has played a lot of football at a very successful level. In Josh Hoover, he got Nick Marsh, who you mentioned got chewed out for wearing golden cleats in practice. But that's just Cignetti's coaching style. He's never happy, never satisfied. He wants you to be disciplined. And, that's how you can tell he comes from the Nick Saban coaching tree. And, that's just his style of coaching. And, yeah. Look out for the Hoosiers again this year to go at least to the playoffs.
Yeah, I would say they had a pretty good year last year. It wasn't bad.
It was okay. They kind of won the national championship.
Yeah. I think they were the only one other team to go 16-0 since Yale back in 1894.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then we got, Illinois, who had a solid season, I would say. They were a good squad this year with Luke Altmaier at quarterback. He's a very sneaky good quarterback this year. And so, winning 9 games is always good, especially when, you're going 9-4, finishing on the upper half of a conference.
I just remember when we were doing the Illinois-Indiana prediction, we thought it was going to be a close game, and then it turned out Indiana blew out a top 10 Illinois team 63-10.
Stomped them. Absolutely stomped them. 63-10. Indiana's an efficient machine of weaponry that season.
Yeah.
But great season from them, honestly. Illinois has nothing to shake their head at. Brett Bielema. Yeah, he's a great coach. And he's going to continue to build at Illinois. The rebuild process was kind of slow for them at first. And then once he got his quarterback, he started to pick it up a little bit. And they started to gradually improve year by year. and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens next year when we do our tier list. You know, when we start our tier list a little bit later, because I know we're going to do them again because they were very popular. But Illinois, you know, they finished with 9 wins. They're about middle of the pack, pretty similar to a Washington this year. But just look out! Don't write them off because they are building and they're going to be a good football team coming up next year.
Yeah. Couldn't say more
And,
myself. Yeah.
and you know, if I have to say anything about this tier list and what we did, I think, you know, if I didn't delete the second half of it and something or I lost it, I think we did a pretty solid job predicting the teams and what they would do.
Yeah.
I think we did great. But, I mean, you know, I don't have much else to say because the Big Ten is a massive conference. And
Yeah.
if I had all the tier list footage, we might be sitting here for another hour or so. And,
Yeah.
you know, obviously, I don't want y'all sitting here for 2 hours watching me talk. You know, I can barely listen to myself for 30 minutes. So, but yeah, I think that'll do it for the tier list.
Yeah.
We'll figure out what else we're going to do content wise throughout the year. Because we're obviously going to keep pumping out content to stay consistent, and that's something we've struggled with. So let us know if y'all have any suggestions for this type of content. If y'all want to see more tier list, if y'all want to see an ACC tier list, we didn't do that last year. I think we need to get to
Yeah.
dropping that ACC tier list. And then, you know, just honestly, we're going to continue to go and continue to push. It's the off season right now. It might be a little boring, but you know, we're going to continue to find stuff for the betterment of this channel, and you know, we're going to continue to push, push, push. We're not stopping, and so yeah. If that is all I have for now. This is Ethan Mailer of the Holy Huddle signing off.
This is Drew from the Holy Huddle signing off. Peace.